So you've been playing some fighting games, some Tekken, all that stuff, and you probably heard sometimes something like, oh, I was minus there, I'm plus here, this is safe, this is unsafe, and sometimes even stuff like, hey, don't you know frame data? Well, if you don't know, I'll make sure now that you're gonna know after you watch this video. To explain what frame data is, you actually need to understand what a frame is first. So I'm pretty sure that you are already familiar with the concept of a frame. When you go to the cinema and watch a movie, what you're seeing on screen is no magic, right? A video, it's just multiple frames, multiple still images, multiple photos cut together very, very fast, and that creates the illusion of movement. Tekken runs at 60 frames per second, so what you are seeing on screen when you watch your Tekken game or any other fighting game, they all run at 60 frames per second. When you're watching that, when you're watching for 1 second, you just saw 60 images, just very, very fast put together to create the illusion of movement. And if you want to be successful in a game like Tekken or any other fighting game, it is very important that you understand the concept of frame data. So you now know what a frame is, and you know that Tekken runs like 60 frames per second. So it is a time, it's a way to measure time in the game. You have fast moves and you have slow moves. Fast moves, they need less frames to get the animation done, and slower moves, they need more frames. Yeah? Just let's, I'm going to visualize this now on screen. So for your basic understanding, we will split the move into the 3 segments that a move is made of. You have startup frames, then you have active frames, and you have recovery frames. Startup means it is the first part of the animation where the character is starting to punch or to kick. Just imagine you're punching a punching bag. The startup is what your fist needs from your body to the punching bag. Yeah, the way it has to travel. Now, when your fist hits the punching bag, this is then when you deal damage. Those are the active frames. Some moves in the game have long active frames. For example, a jumping kick, where the leg of the character is out there for very long, and the whole time your character is flying through the air with their legs out. This is the moment, those are the frames. This is the time frame where your character can deal damage. This is what you call active frames. And then recovery frames means the animation to get back into the neutral position. So let's say you just punched your punching bag and you're retracting your fist back to your body. This is the recovery animation. This is pretty easy, and I'm sure that you now understand what actually is happening on screen. What a full animation looks like. You have startup frames, active frames, and recovery frames. Now let's go into the game here and demonstrate that on the moves. So when you press any button, you will see in the info box down there, attack startup frames on this move here, it's 10. So this means this move has a startup of 10 frames. Now imagine both characters press a 10 frame move at the same time. That means both press at the same time a move that has 10 frames startup, and they will hit at the same time because it's exactly the same time the fist has to travel. Got it? Now, if you want to win in a game like Tekken, what you need to understand is when you are basically faster than the enemy. So when you know your enemy is doing an attack that has, let's say, 15 frames startup, you can counter that with your 10 frame jab. because your 10 frame jab is faster to hit the opponent than the 15 frame attack from the opponent. Yeah. So frames are nothing but a time measurement tool here. So how do you apply this in the game? Now there's another component to that which is pretty important, and that is called hit stun and block stun. So you already saw that this move here is start up 10. So when I hit my opponent with that move, he makes like this animation, yeah, and this is the hit stun of Kazuya. Kazuya's hit stun prevents the opponent to do anything, yeah. So if you are hitting your opponent and the block stun or the hit stun takes him to or forces him to be ready later than you, that means you are plus, because you are able to act faster than your enemy. If you do a big attack, and that's always the nature of these games, a big attack, lots of damage, and it gets blocked, usually the animation for you to recover, the recovery frames, they are longer, there are more recovery frames for you than your enemy has in his block stun. Therefore, your enemy can attack you faster than you can recover. This is what we call unsafe. Now, to check if a move is unsafe, you can see it down there in the box. So if Kazuya blocks King's hop kick, Kazuya recovers faster than King recovers. Yeah, he recovers faster from the block stun than King recovers with his attack animation. And the game does the math for you. You don't need to put it together, right? You can just read it there. Frame advantage is now -13. So that means after I do this attack and the opponent blocks it, the opponent can just hit you for free with anything that is less than 13 frames. For example, a 10 frame jab. So when you're playing fighting games, you always want to make sure that you don't just throw out your big attacks, because when they get blocked, that means you are going to be super unsafe for sure, because your recovery will take hell long. And the opponent will be ready to act earlier than you, and then they can punish you. This is what you call a punish. So try to figure out the character's plus frames, right? Moves that leave you, that gives you an advantage. And always beware about when you are plus and when the enemy is minus. When you are minus, it's blocking time for you, because it's not your turn anymore. This is what it's called, the turn. When you are plus, it's your turn, because you have it easier to connect with your attacks. And the next step is to know exactly how plus you are. So when you know that the enemy is just missing a massive attack, or you have a massive frame advantage, you can then also apply moves that are stronger but have longer and more startup frames, but you are safe to hit. Yeah? Let me demonstrate this. He's blocking. Okay, so look at this. This move here. It's 15 frames startup. 15 frames means even if Kazuya is doing a jab, even when I'm blocking it, or I'm not able to do this, Kazuya will always be able to block this move, because this move has a startup of 15 frames. So how can we make sure to actually get this move? Simple. We wait for Kazuya to miss an attack, and then we can go in safely, because we can punish him while he's in his recovery animation. Or you can force plus frames. So King has an attack, it's the shove. It's this one here. So when you hit with this attack, you are +7. Oh, that's the wrong one. There you go. You can see it down there, down to the left. +7. So I will not be able to use this move here. So the dummy is now set to, after he eats an attack, he's going to block. So you will see that I'm not going to be able to use a 15 frame startup attack when I'm +7, because that's more frames. So he blocks, right? When you hit this attack on counter hit, you are plus 18. So now I'm plus 18. I have 18 frames in advantage. That means my 15 frame move is guaranteed. There's no way for Kazuya to avoid that. See? There's no way for him to avoid that. So once you're getting better at Tekken, you don't have to study. I think nobody can actually ever just learn all the moves, the full move list for every character. If you can do that, congratulations on you. I think it is it's almost impossible and also unnecessary. You want to know the bigger moves, the more common moves. Usually you can keep in mind that that you can punish launchers with jabs, or sometimes even your own launchers, like snake edges, for example. They are very, very unsafe. So if you see the opponent doing big moves and you blocked one of them, rule of thumb is you can go for punish, even for a launch punish after that. If you block jabs from the enemy, fast attacks, try to jab back, but don't try to punish them with your own launcher, because they usually your launcher is not fast enough. This is what makes it so important that you also start learning your own counter hit tools. It's a big difference if you are plus 7, right? Or if you are plus 18. So you want to know when you are plus, that means it's your turn, and then you want to know which moves you want to apply. I hope you got it. It's a short video this time, because I think frame data, there's no need for 30-minute video or something like that. And the basic concept is pretty simple. So once you understand how frame data works, it's going to be pretty easy to actually apply it and learn a couple of frame advantage moves, or moves that give you frame advantage, and then try to remember which moves you can use after which advantage, basically. Yeah, that's it for today. I hope you could learn something. And if there's anything to add, like I already saw on other guides I did, I'm actually happy if people want to add stuff. I try to keep these guides here very basic and beginner friendly, but if you feel there's something you want to add to that, just feel free to add it in the comments. If I feel that's a really great comment, I'm going to pin it as always, and then other people can also read that, of course, and learn a little bit extra stuff. Sometimes I leave stuff out intentionally because I think maybe that is too much. That's not beginner anymore, that's intermediate or advanced. But if you feel there's something missing that beginners still have to know, then just feel free to write a comment, and I'm happy with that. I can just pin it, like I said. And we are going to see us next video. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe Shaheen. I'm still getting my way into the game, of course. Also had 3 days, was busy for 3 days. Birthday party of a friend, all that stuff. And when you are having when you're celebrating good birthday parties with your friends, you know that sometimes a couple of days after that you're not really. You also need some recovery frames, right, for your own body and mind. Anyway, if you like what you see, subscribe please. You know it works on YouTube, and I'm going to see you next time. Peace.